My name is Daniel Adibi, and I'm your host for Our World 101, the show in which we discuss complicated, real-world events and issues to bridge people together. Today's topic is religious understanding. Here to speak to us today is Dr. Gity Etemad, who is a founding board member at Interfaith Philadelphia, as well as a pediatrician. The goal of Interfaith Philadelphia, as their website reads, is to replace hate and fear with harmony and acceptance through various initiatives. Dr. Etemad has played a crucial role in the founding and the development of Interfaith Philadelphia and currently serves as a board member. So, Dr. Etemad, welcome to the show. We are really excited to have you here.
Thank you, Daniel. It is an honor to be in your show.
Thank you. To start off, what inspired you personally to create Interfaith Philadelphia?
I go back to around the summer of 2001, when a very small group of us, my close friend, we were thinking of having something for upcoming Thanksgiving in 2001. So interfaith understanding has been always a passion for me. Since childhood, I was always interested to know the other faiths and to understand their beliefs. So we thought that maybe in the mainland area, which is outside Philadelphia, it would be good to get a group of people together and start something. So I got in touch with a few friends, and in the beginning, it was like maybe 5 of us. We met in our home, and we thought that, this is a good beginning. And then September came, and of course, September 2001, and you know what happened. Mm-hmm. Because of that incident of September 2001 and the word of mouth, we became more aware and more interested for a need to have an interfaith community to understand each other. Mm-hmm. Then a very influential friend of mine, who actually is Jewish, and she has a lot of connection, she got a few key people together, like the leaders of Jewish community, Catholic community, Protestant community, Baha'i community, a Buddhist community in Philadelphia. And we sat down many sessions and we brainstormed to see what we can do in Philadelphia, which is a city of brotherly love and sisterly connected together. And then after many sessions, we started a board in 2004. And we call it Interfaith Philadelphia.
And I know that you mentioned that 9/11 was a huge impetus in getting the organization started. And you mentioned that after 9/11, religious understanding has become even more important. Why was interfaith understanding so important after 9/11, and why does it remain so important today?
Actually, as you probably was a child, you don't remember, but it was an amazing awakening. Awakening, at least in this area. I'm sure it was all over the world, that what is going on? Let us understand each other. Let us see what is happening that is so much hatred. And I think we were pioneer, Interfaith Philadelphia, to start this organization. And Daniel, after that, it was like a mushroom. Start growing. Actually, I'm involved is not only in Interfaith Philadelphia. I'm involved at Temple University Dialogue Institute. We have so many other ones in Philadelphia area. So it was a common understanding between all of us to see what we can do to prevent something like 9/11 that happened here.
Yeah. And can you describe some of the other organizations that you mentioned, like the Temple University Dialogue Institute?
Oh, absolutely. That's another wonderful. Uh, the School of the Department of Religion and the School of Religion at Temple University has a wonderful program. We call it Dialogue Institute. And I'm a board member of Dialogue Institute for the past 10 years. The role of Dialogue Institute is an interreligious, intercultural, intra-religious organization for the education and understanding of people of all kinds of background. It is a global program. And I don't think this is a place to talk about it. Maybe we can talk about it another time. We have students, college students, coming from Middle East during the summer to understand religious pluralism. Mm-hmm. And that by itself, I think, is a different story. I'm a board member on that. We have all kinds of activities that it involves education, it was leadership and different kinds of programs.
And I'm
also a member of another group in this area. We call it Interfaith Women Group. We have been meeting for past 19 years. We have members of the Muslim community, Christian, Baha'i, Buddhist, Hindus, and we meet once a month very regularly. And we talk about our faiths, our beliefs, what we want to do to bring community together.
Mm-hmm. And I know that you are Baha'i, and as you've mentioned, you're very passionate about interfaith understanding. Has your Baha'i faith played any role in shaping your passion for interfaith understanding?
Yes, absolutely. I remember learning about faith when I was actually 7 years old. Mm-hmm. And when we had these Baha'i classes, I was born in Iran. And on Friday, which was our holiday, we had this children class. And even when I was 7 years old, we used to learn about Zoroaster, we used about Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and of course, Baha'u'llah, who is the prophet founder of the Baha'i faith. So this has been always a passion of mine. And I'm going to read this. This is one of the writings that Baha'i faith says, consort with the followers of all religion in a spirit of friendship and fellowship. Do not be content with showing friendship in words alone. Let your heart burn with loving kindness for all who may cross your path. So this is something that I learned as I was growing up. And then when I had the opportunity and I thought maybe the atmosphere is ready, in 2001, we started this Interfaith Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. And can you describe some of the challenges you faced while developing Interfaith Philadelphia near its start?
Let me tell you, if you allow me, let me tell you actually what is Interfaith Philadelphia and the programs they have. Mm-hmm. And then I can explain the different challenges. You know, on the heading of Interfaith Philadelphia, we have 5 programs. One of them is the education of youth, high school students, which we call them walking the walk. Number 2 is education of the adult, whoever is interested, that we call it Dare to Understand. Number 3 is Religious Leader Council of Philadelphia, which get together the religious leaders of Philadelphia area, and then we decide to do different things. Number 4, actually, we have an interfaith book club. And then in between, we have we call it alternate spring break or alternate college break, which the college students who are interested to learn about the different faiths, they come to Philadelphia for 1 week. They go to synagogue, to mosque, to Baha'i Center, to churches, and they learn about different faiths. In the beginning, if you want to, all of these programs are truly very successful, very successful. I would say the challenges are make the people understand and make them be interested. And as you know, any organization that has such a vast interest, it needs money. So raising money, having fundraising events has been, I wouldn't say has been challenged, but has been worked. So we have to work on it to have, and we are very lucky that we have so many organizations, so many wonderful people that they are willing to support this monetarily, individually, in all different ways. For example, on March 2nd, we have a voluntary fundraising every year. We honor someone, and then because of that, people come and they donate. And this is some of the. And as I said, another challenge is, again, make people understand not to be passive, just get involved. And I think your program is actually making awareness to this high school student that there are things that they can get involved.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the programs and initiatives that you mentioned. So first, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Walking the Walk, which, as you said, is your youth initiative. What are some of the specific activities or places you may visit that students, as part of the organization, will experience?
Wonderful. I have been involved with Walking the Walk since its inception at Interfaith Philadelphia. Walking the Walk is a program for high school students, juniors and seniors in the beginning, but now we even have it for junior high school. And a program is that once a Sunday, like the first Sunday of the month, a group of interested students from different religious backgrounds, they get together in one of the houses of worship. For example, 1 month is in a mosque, 1 month is in a synagogue, 1 month is in a church, 1 month is in Baha'i Center, and then they learn about each other's faith principle. For example, if they come to a mosque, they talk about Quran, what Quran means, and then everybody, the person who is the host talks about what is Quran, what are some of the principles of Islam, and then they share. And then the student have a chance to ask questions. When they go to a church, for example, they bring an object of their faith, let's say a cross, and they say, what is the significance of a cross? In Judaism, the same. They come to the Baha'i Center, and then we host. Actually, this coming February 26th, we have a group of students who are coming to the Baha'i Center. So, and then this is 6 months. By the end of 6 months, Daniel, they are transformed. They are different individuals. They know each other better. They respect each other's principles. And they are a different person. I remember one time I was in King of Prussia Mall, and a young girl from distance, she recognized me and she said, Gity, I remember you from walking the walk. It was so wonderful. So it has an impact on the mind of beautiful, brilliant young people.
And can you also describe your Dare to Understand public arts initiative? I know
Yes.
that you partnered with Mural Arts Philadelphia to form it. So can you tell me what makes this initiative so special and what exactly people do in the initiative?
Right. That is mainly for adults. Adults who are interested to go a little bit deeper into the understanding of other faiths, rather just having just a lecture.
Mm-hmm.
The Dare to Understand is that they want to understand more. So, for example, each year, this year, there are 4. One is for Buddhism, is the Baha'i faith. One is for Judaism, and another one for Christianity. Last year was for Islam and for other faiths. So it is a whole, almost a one afternoon whole program. And then they go to the house of worship of that faith. And then they go into deeper understanding of that faith. As a matter of fact, I think, there is one coming up. There is one coming up for us in March. And at the end of that, again, usually there are maybe 30, 35 adults from the age of 16 up to the age of, you would say, maybe 80, that they come and they go through this studying, asking questions, fellowship, and all of that. And it has been a successful program of Interfaith Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. And by the way that you're describing these programs, they seem like a really great way to promote religious understanding and interfaith tolerance. How can somebody who's interested in maybe joining these programs become involved through your organization?
The Interfaith Philadelphia, they have a wonderful website. So as much as we are able to in our public meetings, in our private meetings, we tell people about this, go to the website, and then it's a very, very easy website. You can go to the meetings, how you can participate. And for each of us who are involved in our own community, we kind of advertise it, either by word of mouth or in our meetings. We talk about, everybody likes for their young people to learn about what is going on in the world. For example, Walking the Walk has been very successful. Dare to Understand is very successful. We have a book club. We call it Quest Book Club, that we encourage people to participate. And another one that I don't think we mentioned that is under the auspices of Interfaith Philadelphia is Religious Council of Philadelphia. You know, Philadelphia is one of the most diverse cities in United States. Most diverse city. Religious backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, racial backgrounds, from every point of view. We have about 35 members that participate in Religious Leader Council. And in Religious Leader Council, we talk about different things. For example, hunger, in homelessness, gun control. All of these very, very important issues that facing our city. And some of them are idealistic, but we can do as much as we can in order to bring it to the public arena. For example, we have found 63 blocks in Philadelphia that are very prone to to gun violence. So different faith groups are trying to do different things to see what they can do in these blocks.
And I also wanted to ask you, I know you mentioned that story where you saw that girl from Walking the Walk and she recognized you. What other tangible impacts have you seen through Interfaith Philadelphia? And do you have any other inspiring stories to share with our viewers?
One of the inspiring stories that I never forget, we had a group of high school students who came to the Baha'i Center, and I was supposed to give a talk about the principle of the Baha'i faith. So one of the students who was 15 years old, he raised his hand and he said he has a question. I said, fine. He said, what question you have about your faith, that you had it when you were my age and you still have it? A very profound question. So I had to think about it. And I said, I always think about what is the reason for human suffering? Why there is so much human suffering? Why bad things happen to good people? And I said, I asked this question when I was 15 years old. Believe me, I still have the question. And I have my own answers. Of course, it's not an answer. I think this is a mystery that I never understand. And hopefully I will understand it when I die. But these are some of the questions that these dialogues between young people brings up. It's not that you always get an answer. There are many things we don't get an answer, and it's okay. There are many things we don't have answer to, but it's okay to bring it up. And the transformation I see in children, for example, if there is some tension between the Jewish students and the Christian students, or the Jewish students and Muslim students, in these sessions that we have, when you understand that you have something in common, you really understand that you don't have to look at your differences. Rather than that, you look at what you have in common.
And I think that really brings up a good point, that underneath every religion, what really matters is that all faiths tell us to be a good person. And that's really the underlying principle of every religion. And that's why dialogues like the ones that your organization hold are so important, because they show people their similarities across different faiths and ultimately bring people together.
Right. There is a difference between dialogue and other discussion, like debate.
Yeah.
When you go to a dialogue, you have to leave your own idea away. You come to dialogue to learn. So you just leave whatever you have in your wastebasket away and just listen and learn and have good ears to listen to the other person. That's the main difference between dialogue and debate.
Yeah. And one other thing I wanted to mention, as you said before, just knowing about religious understanding and not really speaking up when you see religious intolerance is not enough. And I think that's a really important message that Interfaith Philadelphia conveys, which is to embrace different religious beliefs. And when we had spoken before this interview, you had shared a really touching story about my grandfather that I think really embodies this idea. So can you share that story with our viewers?
Yes, I knew your grandfather so well, and whenever I think about him, brings tears to my eyes. He was in Shiraz right after revolution. My aunt, who is not a Baha'i, was in the hospital, needed some IV fluid. Because my aunt's family were Baha'is, they did not want to give my aunt any intravenous fluid because they thought she is a Baha'i. Your grandfather said, I am not going to take care of this unless you give him whatever she needs. And she stood on his idea, and then they gave up and they treated my aunt. And I never forget it. And he told me this story himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that story. And he really truly was an amazing person and embodied kindness and character. And I think that story really goes to show that when we see discrimination or religious intolerance, we have to take a stance.
And I think I want to tell you, Daniel, what you're doing is wonderful. And this is one of the ways that you can make your age students more aware of religious tolerance. So hopefully the world would be a better place to live.
Yeah, thank you. I think, your organization is also very important. And I think it has the same mission, to make the world a better place through promoting interfaith tolerance. So I want to thank you again for coming.
Thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Thank you. Before we conclude our interview, I had one last question for you. What advice do you have for kids my age to combat religious intolerance?
What the advice I have is that think for yourself. Be a truth seeker and just go after that and try to be involved as much as possible in social action programs, in social actions, and have an open mind to difference.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Etemad, I've really enjoyed speaking to you about your organization, the work you do, and all the activism that your program is promoting, and what we as humans are obligated to do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. To all of our viewers, I hope you'll join me for the next episode of Our World 101. I'm Daniel Adibi, and I'll see you soon.